What is going on, everybody? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jordan. If this is your first time here, welcome. Working on race cars. Wait a minute. This isn't a race car. If you've seen my videos before, I pretty much have been posting exclusively race car stuff and prepping race cars, showing you behind the scenes, everything that goes on to prep a UTV race vehicle. Well, today, I've got a different vehicle in the shop. I've got a Razor Pro XP. This is Bill's prerunner. And what I'm going to do to it today is a couple different things. First thing is we are going to install a rugged radio and intercom kit and do some damage repair. Went pre-running. I took this car pre-running with Pat from Team Alpine Racing and had a little trail rash, broke a fender, got to replace that as well. So let's get into it. So yesterday I got the radio and intercom antenna cable, intercom cables all wired into Bill's prerunner. Did some cleanup of some other wiring. This was a used unit, trade-in unit previously owned by somebody else. There was a lot of weird stuff going on in the electronics. So did a bunch of cleanup with that, got some harnesses installed, and this morning I'm going to get the pumper mounted. I'm waiting on the power harness for that. Get that mounted, ready to go, so when that power harness arrives, it'll be a quick install. So what I'm doing here, guys, is in the previous video, I talked about having a fueling issue. So we changed the fuel line, put a gauge in line so we can actually monitor live fuel pressure and replace the fuel line all the way back to the fuel rail. And after doing that, it appears that we are still having a fueling issue. I'm going to try a couple things today to confirm that it's still a fueling issue. So I talked about the extended pump in the last video and how we might be fighting some kind of head pressure. So even with the fresh fuel line, a little bit bigger diameter, inside diameter to allow more fuel to feed to the rail, still not running great once everything gets nice and hot and warmed up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a stock fuel pump that is the normal height. I'm going to drop that right in the fuel cell because this fuel cell is full of fuel and run it and see if a non-extended fuel pump solves the problem. And if that's the case, solve the next problem from there to how to get the fuel from the bottom of the cell out. So to better explain to you the issue we're fighting, putting the deeper fuel cell in the 4-seat car, is this is a stock height OEM Polaris fuel pump. Having the deeper fuel cell, your pickup is on the bottom. So when this fuel cell was originally built, it was built for a Pro R and not a turbo car. This is the setup and the height difference in the pumps. It's got a cup, a secondary pickup, because it's all the way at the bottom of the fuel cell. So kind of one of those you versus the guy she told you not to worry about situations. So what I did this morning was I swapped the tall fuel pump, the extended fuel pump, for the OEM height fuel pump. And I made sure the fuel cell had enough fuel in it, because obviously it's not getting all the way to the bottom to pick up fuel. I made sure it had enough fuel in it that the fuel pump was actually picking up fuel. And what I found, car ran perfectly. Car ran great. Changed a couple other things, reflashed the tune. Car ran great. So after reflashing the tune, tested the theory of putting the taller fuel pump back in to see if we would get the same result, and we did. It ran like pure garbage on that extended fuel pump. So what I have done now is I've taken the stock fuel pump that I tested with this morning, and instead of extending the discharge side of the pump to the rail, I've extended the pickup to actually, so it's pulling instead of pushing that extra distance. So it's eliminating that extra head pressure that I've mentioned before. So I'm going to get this slapped in the car, take it for a rip, and see what it does. Well, guys, I'm not sure how well you can see it on camera. Now we're blowing white smoke. I have an exhaust. So, I don't know now if it was actually a fueling issue or another issue entirely. Once again, another race car giving me weird problems out of nowhere. So, gonna keep going down the rabbit hole, see if we can figure it out. All right. So, all of the things that we've done to try to make the 4-seat run better. One of the things we did with the extended fuel pump setup was enlarge the fuel line to reduce the head pressure. Through testing and running and trying to figure that out, we now know that the extended fuel pump setup will not work. And as you saw, I took a stock fuel pump, extended the pickup, and based on the gauge and the pressure, it seems that that pump is going to work. But now we have oversized fuel line. So we may have solved the problem, but created another. So now we just ordered fuel line to go back to the OEM size. And we'll plumb that in as soon as we get it, hopefully in the next day or two. And hopefully that solves a problem. Hopefully that solves a fueling issue, because crunch time, I mean, it's getting to crunch time now to where the Nevada Wild 400 with VORRA is coming up really, really quick. So anyway, I'm going to pivot now, start prepping our race support trailer for an event coming up next week.